see, just like now with them kicking me off, they was asking me to show my face and look to the left and right, and I just stopped it because that sounded like you trying to do something else. So
Yep, yep. Screenshot.
you're you're not finna get me.
Say
All right, here
profile.
we go. Did it
All
just
right.
ask you to accept it?
No, it didn't. No, it didn't say anything. Meeting. Okay, this meeting is now streaming live on YouTube. Yeah, so we good.
All right. All right, everyone. Your host, Cy Smith, coming to you on a Saturday. This is the fourth Saturday, you guys. This is the last Saturday of the seventh month. July is coming to an end next Wednesday. And so I thank everyone for their time. We're going to have a different conversation because it is 10 o'clock Central Time. We're going to be doing our regular broadcast later on at 3 o'clock. This one is going to be a mixture of talking about one specific career field, but it's also an introduction. I'm going to start with the introduction so more people will know what it is that we're doing and why hopefully they'll join in and do their part twice a year. So I want to kick off with that introduction first. Behind me is the flag for Zambia in Africa. Every fourth Saturday, Zambia is on what we call duty. Zambia is linked to Chicago's South Shore neighborhood, zip code 60649 to be specific. So that means 60649 today is on duty in Chicago and they're linked to Zambia. So Zambia is on duty in Africa. All right. We also have Miami, Florida, that is on duty because they're linked to 60649. Now, when I do the introductions, I always say that because when we look at the state of our community, it's very important that we're not narrowly looking at our conditions because our enemy is global. The people who profit off blacks being on the bottom is global. So it's important that we're not missing looking at the bigger picture. So when I name Zambia, it has a role to play in what we as black people are going through. And when I talk about Miami, Florida, they have a role to play. And then of course Chicago. So that's why I always start all the videos off with the structure so people know why we're rocking these African flags. So this conversation here shouldn't last longer than 1 hour. Anyone can get off whenever time constraints, reveal themselves. That's why we record it, so you can always log on and look at it later. We never go by population. We stick to the agenda. We execute the agenda, even if it's no one on the line. So we're going to go through what we would go through if it was 50 million people on here. We're going to go through that same process. It's an open forum, so you guys chime in whenever you need to. Type a message in the chat box, either or. So this meeting here is about lawyers. It's about lawyers. And so every fourth Saturday in July in particular, we concentrate on the lawyers, the black lawyers around the world and what they could be doing ideally to add value to the black struggle. And there's a lot of things that that we can talk about what legally can be done to make life better for us. So that's the main purpose of the meeting. However, I've invited some key people to join this meeting who are not lawyers, may not even want to be lawyers. And that's fine because with anything, you need your support staff or your support system in addition to whatever you're focused on. And so the people who's going to be getting on here are people whose last names begin with the alphabets A, B, C, D, or E. Let me say that again. The people who will be joining, their last name begins with an alphabet between A and E. And I'm going to go through what that means and why that's important to the black struggle. So that's kind of the overview. We're going to go through introductions here in a minute. But before we do that, let me tell you why people should care about what we're doing here. Why people should really pay some attention to what we're talking about. Every day on the news, we see, unfortunately, our people in tears crying because their loved ones been shot, killed, stabbed, raped, missing. And unfortunately, it's totally disproportionate to black people. In the midst of that struggle that we see every single day, in the midst of that, we see people who are profiting off of that demise. There are people who benefit when you see our black women and mothers out there crying because their son was murdered. There are people who literally are making money off of that type of dysfunction and disorder. And we should not, as Black people, expect them to care more about our community than we do. So it's really on Black people to say we're going to coordinate in a different way. And I say coordinate because it requires, it's a verb. You got to do something instead of come together. Because once you come together, then what? So we want to coordinate, meaning everybody got a role to play. Everybody do their part. And so that's why you should listen to us, because we've been able to strategically go around the world and identify superstars like you that are active doing things in your community. And the key is not to try to recruit you to helping us or anything of that nature. It's how do we coordinate together? And that's what we want to do. That's why I use the word coordinate over anything else, because people are already active doing what they do. Lost power here. AJ, can you see me still?
Yes, sir.
Okay, there we go. So that's why people should coordinate with us. If you run a youth program, that's fine. Because we in Miami and other places, let's talk about how your youth program can go to Miami. Why should we help you do that? Because our children gonna be stronger when they have seen more than their local neighborhood. So it's in everybody's best interest to make sure that our young people get to travel and see things. If you have a person that son want to be a plumber, we want to coordinate with you so we can link them with our retired plumbers. So again, this is applicable to everyone, and I hope you would see it that way. So now let's go through introductions. My name is Cy Smith. I'm in Gary, Indiana, zip code 46402. And what's critical for me before I leave this earth is to see Black people loving each other, supporting each other, doing business with each other, while traveling back and forth between here and Africa as if it's not a big deal. And I'm gonna say this: when I say that's what I want to see happen before I leave this earth, that doesn't mean that I don't want to see global harmony. But before we have global harmony, we can't let this group of people who have yet to be repaired for the wrongs that's been happening for a very long time. I don't see how we have global, peace when we have this injustice that's still happening. So having said that, AJ, let me flip it over to you, man. You mind your name, zip code, what you want to see happen before you leave this earth?
Hey, how you doing, brother Smith? This is Anthony Jackson here from Chicago, 60649. I would love to see some resemblance of some organizing so that we can start distributing information to them mentally, because I see a lot of it has to do with the mental mindset of us.
Yep.
We're not focused in on the mindset and the psychological problem that's going on in our communities. And I see that a lot, living over here in South Shore. So you see a lot of stuff that's going on. And it's just, like I said, it's just interesting that we need this. We need to communicate. We need to work together a lot more. I'm part of the CAPS program in the neighborhood community, so I get the information and like I said, I get the statistics of what's going on in the area during the
Right.
week, and the statistics are, it's interesting. The carjackings, the home invasions, just a lot of stuff I'm starting to see that, I didn't know it was going on in the neighborhood, but
Right.
now I do know. So, so it's just a part of everybody being willing to participate, even if it's only for an hour versus not doing anything at all. So that's what I try to tell my neighbors, just give an hour, just that's all. It just takes a few minutes, and everybody thinks, you got to give your whole day to it. It's like, no, participate one day, because once you find something you enjoy doing or uplifting, you're going to continue to keep doing it. So it's just one step at a time. And so I communicate with you, the way that we communicate, so that we are in connecting. So I
Yep.
truly appreciate what you're doing and organizing, or should I say coordinating, how we
Hey,
should do.
AJ, do that sound better? Like, what you think about that though? That coordinate, like, do you see a difference between that?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Coordination is what's important, because we need participation. So without that, we
We,
just talking. We
yeah,
just
we can
talking.
come together in the nightclub. So
Yeah,
how we gonna
exactly. So
coordinate though?
yeah.
That's the key,
Yeah.
right?
And,
So
and and since most most people love to give orders. I don't see why that should be a major problem for most people, because all you got to do, if you don't want to do it, get somebody else to do it. But
That's real talk, man. I
yeah,
appreciate that.
so yeah, that's it, bro. I'm gonna be quiet.
Now that I appreciate that. So I want to start off again. So this Zoom 1 hour, 11 o'clock will be off. It's going to be split between lawyers and then what Black people coordination looks like. So I'm starting out with Black people coordination. Then at the 10:30 frame, I'm gonna switch over to the lawyers piece, you guys. So this here document that you're looking at says last name solution for stress relief. Last name solution for stress relief. It literally covers every last name on planet Earth, A through Z. So this is all inclusive of every single person. We know our brothers in Nation Islam, Muhammad, so most of them will be in that M bracket there. But the point is, every alphabet is covered here. So with that in mind, how do we coordinate Black people so that we can get results other than coordination, or other than us just coming together and preaching to the choir? Because that's what, unfortunately, we do a lot of. With the last name solution, it says we're gonna not bog people down because we know they got a lot of stress. So what if we just ask them to participate every 6 months? This is coming from a broken clock concept. A broken clock is right twice a day, no matter what. It literally don't have to do anything, but because time is evolving every second, it's right twice a day. So that's where this came from. What if we only ask Black people to coordinate and do something collectively twice a year? That means every 6 months. So that's how powerful this is. This is something that people can do in their sleep once they are made aware of it. It's the last name solution. So what it boils down to here is this month is alphabets A all the way to E. And there are all type of A through E last name. Adams, you got Browns, Brooks, Clarks, you got Dixons, you name it, A through E. It's a lot of Ellis's. So when we look in our neighborhoods, on our block, who do we have with these last names this month? Because if you see July there, right there, yellow, July. January and July, that's the only time we bug the A through E people. That's it. Next month, and see, Mr. Jackson got on here. He's next month. As you can see, F through K is February, and 6 months later, August. So he's getting a primer, a trainer, if you will, before August, which is his month. And let me tell y'all guys why this matters so much. This allows us to take a crowd of people and spread the workload out. Instead of having a crowd of people doing all the work at the same time, then you got time not covered. So when just think about a police department, they have to have someone 24/7. It can't have everyone there, at 10 o'clock, then at 10 o'clock at night, nobody there. This allows Black people to be organized where 365 days a year, there's always coverage from now on, because everyone got a last name. Even if you married and you switch your last name, it's gonna fall in another category, but it's still between the January and July. I mean January and December. AJ, when you hear this, man, what you think about that idea, that concept?
Oh, it's a great concept. I don't see the problem with it, because it's just asking you to participate, and it's not difficult, and it's very simple. It's like I said, twice a year. You shouldn't have a problem with communicating with your neighbors or anybody else, twice a year. I mean,
it's almost embarrassing, right? It's like it makes it too easy to fail type scenario,
Yes, I totally agree with that. You are 100% correct.
Yeah, and this also ties into money, because I want to make sure people understand self-determination requires us to fund our own. If we are waiting on government daddy to financially help us, we're gonna have to kind of do what daddy say. When we do for self, it puts us in the driver's seat. So no matter what, please know always, when we buy Black, support our own people, we donate to our charities, we're keeping our dollars circulating in our neck of the woods like everybody else. Chinatown, Greektown, Little Italy. It's nothing racial about that. It's making sure that your dollars is going to support your way of life, your culture. And we had to help our people be okay with that, because they tend to say, oh, I help everybody, all, and all has its place, but you always cover home base first. And that's the challenge for us, is because we've been traumatized that we sometimes see all instead of being okay with loving home base first. So that's another element to this is we know when we can count on financial support because of this. So this month we've had people who last names A through E come through. Next month we're gonna have people who last names F through K come through. In December we know who we can count on. So this gives us that predictability. It removes the uncertainty away because we can kind of count on our people. So I want to beat a dead horse, but I want to really stress that so people can see and know why that part there matters so much. Pull up this next slide here so you guys can see. And all the people who will watch this later, the phone number is area code 312-405-8844. You can always call and I can answer more questions. 312-405-8844. So here we go. This here is full of so much information, but I want to direct your attention to this cat right above between his ears. Can you see that, AJ?
Yes, A&E.
A through E. Did we not just talk about why? This is July. July is A through E last name. So that's the key. This is the driver of this month. And this won't come up again until January of next year. That's the beauty. And so when you look at this, CAT stands for conventions. That's what's going to happen at 10:30, the lawyers convention conversation with all our lawyers. Next week is the political convention. So every single weekend, a different conversation with our professionals in that line of work so that we can make sure the Black agenda is being promoted by whether it's the lawyers, the politicians, the truck drivers, whatever the profession is. If it's their convention, let's talk about uplifting Black people. The awards. The awards is kindergarten through 12th graders always having a reason to compete and win. The tours is specific to what neighborhood we're asking everyone to go into with their talents, gifts, and financial support. This month, the tour is in North Lawndale in Chicago and Los Angeles in California. So that's the concept with the tour, is to travel to an area and add value to it. And then at 3 o'clock today will be the summit where we analyze what we've done in the last 30 days. So the summit is accountability. What did we do? What was the results? What can we do better? That's what the summit allows us to do. Any questions on that part there, AJ, before I go to the other parts of this?
No, excellent, my brother.
Excellent, cool. So now this big picture, now that I broke down what CAT stand for, the title says living our way to a better life. Living our way to a better life. The reason why you see it saying living our way, because when we look at the shooting and killings in our neighborhood, it's different based on the race. Mexican killings is different than Black killings. Black killings is different than white killings. And if you take the approach of a one-size-fits-all approach to stopping the killing, unfortunately, you're going to miss something because there are motivating factors based on race. A lot of Black killing is personal and is caused by deprivation, economic deprivation primarily. And it's being promoted in the music, the lyrics, and all this here stuff. That's a little different than someone with a mental case. They go into school and shoot up the school. So you don't apply the same solution to both those scenarios. What we do here is we concentrate on us. We take care of us. If we take care of us, it's going to have an effect on everybody else, other ethnic groups and our communities all around the world. So we focused on what we need to do. So when we talk about living our way to a better life, 80% of that work is already done. That means it's just 20% left for Black people to do. 80% is done, AJ. 55% of that 80% is our presence, meaning just being there. If you're a woman walking down the street 2 a.m. by yourself, that's a threat. You walking with just one other person reduces that threat. That presence of that other person. They could be deaf, but as long as that presence, it can scare off potentials. So presence is everything. And Black people are present all over the world. We're there. We're there. We're physically there. Our presence is there. The key is, how do we extract the information out the person to find out you're a retired carpenter? Okay, good. You're a retired teacher. Oh man, you're a young person that want to be. That information tells us where to line you up at. So that way we can get some production. First, you gotta be present. You gotta be around. Then we find out what you into, what God gave you, and then we link that together with other people doing the same thing, and voila.
Excellent.
So that's critical, AJ. What do you think?
Oh yeah, no, that you on point. You definitely on point. Participation is mandatory. That
That
that's
now
that's
eight. No, go ahead.
no that's 90% of the problem now. Lack of participation.
And what we want to do, and I'm glad you stressing that. I want to when people get off this Zoom, please know that we should have made it where you do not feel like this is a drain. Like if you feel like what we're talking about is a drain, that means I'm explaining it wrong, because it don't get no easier than twice a year to me. So
Yeah, correct. That's a no-brainer. I mean,
yeah, I hope it is, AJ, because people get bogged down in caring for an ailing parent. I get it. That's why it's built every 6 months. Broken clock. So yeah, and HSN stands for our habits. S is for our schedule, and the N is for our network. Who can we pick up the phone and call? That's our lifestyle, our habits, our schedule, and our network. So when we talk about shooting and killing in our neighborhood for our Black people, there's some habits that we need to introduce some different habits to. We're primarily with our males. Scheduling. There's some things we need to introduce in their life that they have use their time to it instead of what they're using their time to now. Then the last one, the network, is some people in their phone that we want to add their phone number to who they got a relationship with that's going to alter the way they operate now. So that lifestyle is about our habit, schedule, and network. And when we talk about lawyers getting together today, and you got a son that want to be a lawyer, it makes sense for him to get in his network so he can be around that lawyer type stuff. So we think that living our way to a better life is about how we gather all the information, who's doing what, where, and we share it where it makes sense at. So that's what the living our way to a better life results is designed for. So on the left, you see conventions. It's what today is. You see Karen Barnes right there. She couldn't be on. I told her I'm gonna hold it down for 10 o'clock Central Time. Then on the right, you see the summit, which is gonna happen later on today, 3 to 5 o'clock. Erica Dunn is gonna be on there. But AJ, look at the names underneath. That's what's beautiful in terms of gathering this information and then coordinating. You see last names A through E all up and down the convention side.
Mm-hmm.
Them names match A through E. So Jewel Dixon is on here, but she can't get her mic and stuff up. So hopefully she'll be able to watch it later. But Jewel Dixon name is on there, J and then Dixon.
Right.
And so you can see that, AJ.
Yes. Yeah, I got you.
Now,
Yeah.
you see, I got AJ down there, AJ, because I hadn't caught up with this brother. So when I talked to him, I said, "Ooh, let me get him on. That'd be preparation for next month." So that was the thinking, AJ.
Good thinking.
All right, so that's the left side. So today, and a lot of the people who are not on here, they'll watch it, and that'll be their update since January on what's what and what's different, anything of that nature. But if you go straight down, you see next month is already prepared for. Saturday, August 24th. That's the fourth Saturday. And it's Terry, last name G, Graham, because next month is F through K.
Mm-hmm.
So Sister Karen, serving now, hands it over to Sister Graham. And then Sister Barnes is free until next January. She done her part to help the global Black movement out. Black people, I think that's a thing of beauty. AJ, she goes through,
Absolutely.
man.
You there's no words need to be said. I mean, it's self-explanatory. I mean, unless you just want to bring up some issues about anything.
Nah, I appreciate it. Now, all conventions are designed to go through Gary, Indiana. Gary, Indiana, for those who may not know, is literally 40 minutes away from Chicago. It's a Black city, home of Michael Jackson, Denise, forgot her name, Denise Williams, and some other Black people who've shown the world the talent comes from small places too. But Gary is an example that Blacks should be making financially. It's too close to the third largest city in America, Chicago. It's right in this back porch, and it's 83% Black. So I invite all Blacks in Chicago. Let's invest heavily here. We need one city that we can point to that is Black city that we've made robust, from education to economics, you name it. So Black Chicago pointing to Black Gary is important, and the conventions are our excuse to make sure that every single weekend there's a reason to travel to Gary and pour into the Black businesses here and the Black conversations, whatever the convention topic is. So that's what why Gary matters so much. On the other side, the summits is always in Chicago. Is always in Chicago. So every fourth weekend is the summit. So that means people all over the country coming up to Chicago for this update on what we've gotten accomplished in their cities. So that's these conventions and summits is physical. We're doing it on Zoom now, but they're designed for physical in nature, where we physically come together and get these updates. And it's based on your last name, but anyone can participate and get an update. But whoever last name it is, that's who we really want to be able to count on. So it's like you are the guaranteed audience. Everyone else is just icing on the cake. Any thoughts or concerns with that, AJ?
No, nope.
Now
Got
let's
it.
get to the last meat of it on this one document here. I'm zooming in so you guys can see that a little bit better. Can you see it, AJ?
Yes.
All right, so these colors just make it attractive, but that first bucket there is blue. It's a number 1 in there. I should have made white. I will make it white later. But that's strike team number 1, which is made up of business people. Business people have a different mindset. It's about taking risks and getting a profit. That's what number 1 people are. The number 2 is the red bucket. Those are people who love holding people accountable. These are the people that they see something wrong, they go express themselves. So that's the protest bucket there. We call it strike team number 2. In every neighborhood, in everybody's family, you know who your team 2 people are. So you know which
Okay.
family members are team 2, you know. So being coordinated with team 2 helps because they ready to go and hold people accountable. So team 2 is in every family, every neighborhood. What if we started making sure we document who team 2 is so they can do some coordination one day? That's the mindset with that strike team. Strike team 3 is the green one. Those are all our people that's always watching the perimeter. These are military, police, firefighters. They're looking at, from a safety standpoint, what's what. And with all the shooting and killing, missing Black women, that's a team 3 issue. In every neighborhood, where's team 3? Team 4 is education. So that's about our students, our young people. Team 5 is our construction people. Black people, we getting our butt kicked with other people literally coming in Black neighborhoods, doing roofs, doing electrical, doing landscaping. And this just doesn't make sense that you need work and other people are finding work in your neck of the woods. So team 5 got to get stronger. Team 6 is race relations. That's people that might be married to the opposite race. That's fine. We just want to make sure team 6 is our buffer so we can monitor anything that might be racial in nature that might hurt us as a people. So team 6 is that group of people. Team 7 is the pink bucket there. That's the food, all things dealing with what we put in our bodies. We know that about 10 companies control all the food in the world. That's a problem. So how do we help more of our people grow their food? So that way we're less dependent on these monopolies that are putting preservatives and other things in the food. Then the last one is purple. That's what today is about. And that's our legal bucket, team number 8. What laws are on the book? What laws are being proposed that will hurt us as a people? So that's strike teams 1 through 8, you guys. And the goal is all the conventions covers pretty much all these whenever their turn is coming up. Today is the lawyers. So the convention is covering team 8 lawyers. Anything you want to add to that, AJ?
So you said so each one of these are they're for people to get on the list to participate, correct?
Yep. Yep.
So and so like next month, there's a I know there's a so for safety issues. So there's someone in my community that handles that part of it, correct?
And yeah, in 60649, yep.
Yeah, okay. All right. So yeah.
But AJ is also it's both ways, right? One is as a consumer or as a participant. So when it's your month, that's when you're a participant. So that's when you're out there doing the gas station patrols when it's your month. That's the participant part.
Got
The
you.
other 10 months, you're a consumer, meaning if you see something, man, these abandoned buildings, I want someone to come write down all those addresses so we can turn it to police. Who you go ask? You go ask A through E this month. If it's in March, I mean it's in September, you go ask the LMNOs. So as a participant, you do it. As a consumer, you know how to get it done.
Got you.
So this is the next level, man, to help our people first be a participant. Don't withdraw until you deposit. So we want people to, we want people to learn how this works so then they can start using it for whatever they working on or what they care about, you know?
Right. Yeah. That's true.
Right. So now this last one, then we're gonna switch over to the lawyer's piece here. All right, let's pull this one up right here. Share. Here we go. Voila. All right. It should pop up in a second. All right. You can zoom it in, right, AJ, yourself?
Yeah. Yeah, I got it.
Okay. So I want to go to this right here because I want to show the structure. Yep. There we go. So I'm going to break this structure down so people can see this. And I'm going to zoom in. Will it let me zoom in? I don't like that zoom in. Full screen. I was trying to get the full screen on there so get rid of that sidebar.
Right, gotcha.
Voila. All right. So, of course, we're going to be talking about lawyers, but this here map is the map of the world, and it's constructed in a way that allow us to move the parts around. So, of course, to the left is the United States, and under the United States is South America. So North America, South America. Then Africa is there in the middle. And then the rest of them, we didn't put inside the actual country boundaries, but we did highlight them. But I want to call our attention first to, and I can't zoom in any further here, but you can zoom in. So if you zoom in on the yellow represents lawyers. And lawyers are being managed today, on this day, Lawyers' Day, by those jurisdictions. And this changes every single day. So this is on Lawyers' Day, which is every fourth Tuesday. The reason I'm showing this so everyone to know is every day it's a different career profession and it changes jurisdictions. Why does this matter? Because if you have a lawyer in your family, on your block, it's important that they know the rest of the linkages that will allow them to be in coordination with each other in Chicago, in Mississippi, in Africa, literally anywhere. And so France is the G20 member country that we gave responsibility to look for all the Afro-French people. And there are Afro-French people being treated poorly inside of France. And I get it. Most people say, well, why should we care? Because France is impacting Chicago. If you look at the bus shelters right now, those are French bus shelters. They're making money in Chicago all the way from France. So we got to know that everything we're dealing with is global in nature. Like we can't let them off the hook. And so we need to, on the fourth Tuesday, be monitoring what France is doing, making sure they're not coming up with new proposals to hurt us even in Chicago. AJ, what do you think about that?
That was eye-opening information. I know that. I mean, I didn't know about the bus stop, but when you said it, it automatically registered because that was the first place I ever saw one at. So, yeah.
But they call it Deloitte is DELOEUX. That's who clean them. You see them out there cleaning the bus shelters. Yeah,
exactly. But never put it together without the right information. You won't put anything together. So
yeah,
that's why
you need to know, right?
Yeah, that's why this communication is important, so you can start analyzing so that you are more aware of what's really going on.
And it's a shame. I believe that's why they kicked me off Facebook today, because I was sharing the insights, like tying two to two together, and it's like, wow, they didn't want the tie-ins. Huh?
Oh no, no, no. You're doing too much as far as they concerned. So, well, yeah, that's how they roll. Like I said, all the foolishness uh can get time, but reality is always put in the back burner. They don't never want you to deal with the reality of what's really going on.
That you hit it on the head. Now, I want people to also just see the structure of this. So every fourth Tuesday, that's what that yellow is for. Yellow T is for Tuesday. It's always the last Tuesday of the month. That's Lawyers Day, forever. Lawyers Day. And the enemy cannot kill the fourth Tuesday. So that's what makes this different than back in the day with our Dr. King and our brother Malcolm X movements. It was centered around what our leaders could do to galvanize us. This is different because this puts the burden on you to remember. So if you're a lawyer, remembering the fourth Tuesday is our unifying day around the world. That don't mean you have to do all 12 fourth Tuesdays a year. You can stick to your 2 a year. But Leon, as long as you know the other 10 times throughout the 12-month calendar, lawyers are still getting together. You just don't have to participate, but at least you're aware that the fourth Tuesday is locked in stone for that day for lawyers all around the world. Shoot holes through that, AJ. What anything wrong with that concept, that idea?
Absolutely not. I mean, it's, even if you forget, and that's why it's like you said, it's the fourth Tuesday. So all you got to do is if you miss your own meeting, you can still go back and follow up on the next meeting because the next Tuesday is coming. And as long as we hear, it's going to be another Tuesday coming. So,
and when we did, the next kids that want to be lawyers, it's a sustained. I'm glad you brought it up like that. This is here when we dead and gone, y'all. As long as Black people agree to it.
Well, and see that's the whole thing, is having a script so you'll know how to function. Because like you said, in order to get coordination, we have to get participation, and then we got to get the knowledge out so you already know. So if you teach somebody this and they learn it and use it, now your network, whatever business you're in, it goes international. It goes global now.
Yes.
So now your community is bigger and you still sitting at home.
Yep. You want, because right now Rahm Emanuel is sitting in Japan as the ambassador, and he can make a phone call and make something happen on any of our Chicago blocks. So he's outside your community, but got more power than you have in your community. Rahm Emanuel, former mayor.
Yeah. So, business as usual, right?
Yeah, but that's why this is such a big deal, you guys, because we got Afro Japanese too, who can also reach him out there. So the key is that we are broader so that you're not pigeonholing us into one area that makes us an easy target. No, we got reach too. And we're going to grow our reach by living these values of connecting every fourth Tuesday for the lawyers, connecting. Every day is someone different. So it allows us to keep expanding. That makes it harder for them to target us because we too expansive. So yeah.
Makes sense. Make a lot of sense.
All right, now, so here we go on the lawyers end, because the key with the lawyers is this, you guys. Anyone, whether they pass the bar or not, we operate from your demeanor, your passion. So when we talk about lawyers is people who literally are okay, confident enough, debating a point of view, arguing based on looking at the details. They go by details. They don't go by feelings and emotions. They go by what's written, what was passed. Was it president? Who else, set this order? So in our family, do we have a child that is always questioning stuff, always communicating what they feel? That's borderline putting them in this arena here. And so we want to always recruit people that we see who have those tendencies so that we can get them in this lawyer pipeline. So we can get them in the pipeline. They got a prison pipeline. Do we have a block by block pipeline that when we catch anyone that's teetering in that world of debating, questioning, let's get them in that pipeline so they can start learning the vocabulary, being connected to the retired lawyers, things of that nature that'll help them develop them skills and their network. doing mock trials inside of our zip code so they can practice how to defend a case and so forth. What do you think about that, AJ?
Oh, excellent concept. I know it will work because if you don't know the law, then you can't say anything.
You're sitting there like a bump on the log, exactly. So yeah. So we do have it's a certain format that I want to show everyone when it comes to the lawyers. And it's a national format. So let me put this up first. Let me close this one. Let me close this camera, and then I'm gonna switch over to this other camera here, you guys. You still can hear me, right, AJ?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. So let's put this one up here so it can be seen broader. Okay, so all right. This is our United States of America. And where you see the bold markings at in the South, that's where the majority of Black people in America live. That those states is where most Black people are at percentage wise. We're the strongest in America in the South.
Yes.
Mississippi is the blackest state out of all of them at almost 40%. No state is higher than Mississippi. So Mississippi is in red because it's crucial for Black people, where we are the strongest at how do we make that robust and vibrant. So that's why you see that. Of course, Louisiana, Birmingham, all those other places, there's a lot of Black people there too. So when you look at this map, we're looking at who are the lawyers in every one of these states. Who are the lawyers in LA, San Diego, in New Orleans, in Dallas? So AJ, if you know anyone that's a lawyer, paralegal, anybody in that legal bucket, we want to, this would be the day to make sure we at least know where they at. We don't have to win them over now, but at least we can document AJ got 3 lawyers or potential paralegals. So that way we'll know where to go back to them when we're ready to recruit, get them some up-to-date information about what's coming up. You know what I mean? Like we know where to direct information to.
Right, right, right. Excellent.
So that's a big part of it. Now I'm pulling up here our regions. So that's the way the map looks, but we got something even better because it'll tell you how we have every city organized. And that's a big deal for our people to walk away with. So when our lawyers watch this, and you're a lawyer, we know you're busy, we know you have a lot going on, you're already a part of a different associations. As a lawyer, we want you to know that this is a bottom-up approach. Even in the Major League Baseball, they have a little league. This is the little league. So it's not bothering you, but it's there where we're doing miniature things to help get them in the mindset of growing up to be like you guys. So we don't want you to dismiss us, dismiss what we're talking about here. We want you to know it's designed so that you can pull these young people up that want to grow up and be who you guys already are. So just know that. So we're not competing with the other organizations, lawyer clubs, and all that. We're just block by block where the killing is happening at. So it made sense for us to create this outlet to where we can have people that want to be lawyers, at least in this network, and get them access to you guys as professionals.
Makes sense.
Right. Yeah. And believe it or not, AJ, a lot of times we get into an unnecessary fight with our experts because they go into, we already doing that. And it's like, we try to make sure they know we're not threatening. You guys are doing it big. We don't want to do it big. We just want to be the recruiting arm. We are on these blocks where the shooting and killing is happening at, and we're finding people that want to be who you are. You're not on that block. You're not even made to be on that block. So why not? Let's create this agreement and pathway. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
It's bad, but we in that battle every day with our people over ego. So that's really what it is.
Yeah. No comment.
That's really what it is. And look, AJ, it's every field. It ain't a lot of lawyers. It's every field. It's our politics. It's every field. And we eventually go break through and help our people see. Like, let us stay on the ground. We want to be door to door. That's where we love that.
Right.
So let us stay in our lane, and we go respect your language. So it's all good. All right. There it is. I got it now. Here we go. Here we go. Let's switch over right now for this. So, all right, this here, what I'm about to show all of our lawyers here, AJ, is a perfect example on how we're structured for the long haul. All right, here we go. Here we go. So, I don't know. I really need to blow this up. All right, so let's do this. Let's go to the lawyers. That's the religious people. Here's the lawyers right here. All right, so this document says a whole lot. Of course, we're looking at all of our lawyers all around the country. All right, this is a map of our United States, but where we have our people at. The color codes represent regions. So in order to organize ourselves for the best or for the strongest position, we link all of our cities together in regions so that we can constantly have the people get to know each other intimately. Like that's the goal. So the first region is Gary, Chicago, Atlanta region. GCA, we call it GCA. Can you see that, AJ?
Yes.
So Gary, Indiana, Black city, Chicago, 30% Black city, and then Atlanta, Georgia, Black city. So if we get our lawyers from Gary, lawyers from Chicago, lawyers from Atlanta together, and they're out here in Gary for this convention, they're going to be off to the side discussing GCA lawyer stuff. What's happening legal wise in Chicago, Atlanta for us. If you look underneath that, you see the next region. The other one is Detroit, St. Louis, and Milwaukee. If they were physically here in Gary today for the convention, they'll be off to the side and discussing legal issues affecting Detroit, St. Louis, and Milwaukee. Next, Birmingham, Miami, Birmingham, and New Orleans, that region. Then you got Kansas City, St. Paul, and Cleveland, that region. California region by itself, that's LA and San Diego. We had Dallas and Memphis region, and then the biggest region is East, which is Boston, Philly, DC, Norfolk, and New York City. What do you think about that structure, AJ?
Perfectly structured. It's I mean, it's an excellent start for the link to be connected. And then, like you said, we can, if everybody would just participate on a small level, which is what we're asking, everything starts moving.
Yeah.
And the more we participate, little by little, the chain gets longer, you know. So
I agree.
And we got to keep these links together in order for some progress to be communicated and expanded on. And breaking it down by regions is an awesome thing because, like I said, everybody's not doing everything at the same time. You don't have to spend a whole bunch of time. You could just participate, spend your hour or two, whatever it takes at the maximum, just communicating, talking to your people on, you know, your colleagues, your coworkers, your neighbors. So it's just a matter of sharing something that is needed. Just be honest with it, is needed more so than we, even us, to talk with what we're talking about it right now. But it's needed in order for us to see any personal growth, worldly, you know, because somebody has to lead the flock. And it just happens to be us, whether we like it or not.
That's real talk.
So, you know,
Absolutely.
So, you know, it's, you know, because we're the last of the knowledge seekers. Everybody else is a consumer and just loves to consume based on new statistics.
Yeah.
So, and that's why I say this is an awesome endeavor that we're taking upon us. And I pray that everybody sees it from the light of energy of it's all it is just an hour of expressing some love for something else outside of self.
I
Hey,
I like that. Go ahead, Jewel Dixon.
those are beautiful words he said. I'm glad I can hear you guys, even though I can't see a thing. But I'm appreciate all that he said, and I really like what's going on.
Now, AJ Jewel is man, 2003 Jewel.
Yeah,
So that makes it 21 years. So
yeah.
that AJ, that's who Jewel Dixon is with us.
Oh, bless you, my sister. Thank you so much for joining us. We truly appreciate you.
I am glad to hear all that I've heard. I wish I could do more, but I participate as much as I can here in Atlanta, in Georgia.
And
Now,
that's the most important thing. Any participation is better than none.
Thank you.
AJ, I'm glad you're stressing that, and I want to let people know it's two things that literally is holding us back, and AJ is stressing participation. The first one is the instability in our community is holding us back, and the uncertainty. Instability and uncertainty, and they different, y'all. So the instability, that's dealing with, and when we think about not having the connections, not having the network, I want to do this, but if I go over there, I ain't gonna have a ride back. I ain't gonna do. So the instability is there. We see it every day. We know we can do better. We know we so much more powerful than what we showing, but instability keep us from connecting dots. Then the uncertainty, and the uncertainty is the doubt part. And that comes from not having someone that got your back. See, if I know you got my back, I can step boldly with certain things. I can go confidently because I know worst case scenario, you got me. It's a lot of people who ain't stepping because they feel like they're on their own.
Yeah.
It takes all of that.
That is absolute. I agree. I'm in total agreement.
Yeah.
So what we're doing here, what you guys have done tremendously, Jewel, you getting on, because if we know we can count on Jewel to at least be on the call on July and January, when we hire that young person to manage the phone call and no one is on there, he starts to lose doubt or confidence in what we're doing. But when Jewel is on there and the other person is on there, now he feels like he a part of something that other people care about. And that's why the presence is everything, even if it's every 6 months. It keeps the whole system working.
Absolutely.
That's the way it works. And I'm so glad that you sent me the announcement so that I can get on time because I won't be here later.
Yep. Nah, but like AJ say, there's so many of us. We only need 1%. Yeah. We only need 1% because we 46 million people strong. 1%.
Yeah. Remind me of the next time you need
January.
me on. Okay.
Ain't that something? See how relaxed you free to January next year. That's a thing of beauty.
Okay. All right.
But here's how you can help in between though, because I want everyone to know how you can help when it's not your time.
Yeah, definitely.
As you see here, this says trucking convention. Who we know that's a truck driver? That's linking them in. All right, that's the truck drivers. Then look at this one. Who do we have that is a police officer? Because here go the police right here.
Okay.
And at your linkage of who you know that's a police, who you know that's a truck driver, it strengthens the whole thing because now we get them on the pathway. Now they in formation twice a year like we are. So that's the key when it's not your time. How do I keep linking people in so they can get in formation too? Because that's what this is. Okay. This the religious one. Who we know that's a pastor. Because we had all the churches together, a lot of the preachers on, so they can hear about the structure and the system as well.
Okay.
And this is 48 weekends out the year, y'all. So this is every single weekend. It's a different focal point for Black people.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Okay.
All righty. We right here. It's 3 minutes away. And I just can't stress enough for both of you guys to get on here. You see who was on the list. So of course we had Shabilla. She's out of Dallas, Texas, superstar. Reba out of Chicago, LaShawn out of St. Paul, Minnesota, Hydra's. She's there with you, Jewel. I want to make sure y'all meet in Georgia.
Okay.
Sister Clark is I think she's in Vegas. Ida Cotton is in Mississippi. Brittany's here in Chicago, our 60652 leader. We got you, Jewel. We got you, AJ. I just thank y'all for carving out that time. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Any thoughts, questions,
Okay.
feedback for me?
Keep up the good work. We all.
That's it.
Bless.
Y'all know. All right. Well, that concludes us. This is recorded, so people will be able to go back and watch it, share with others. Thank y'all for your time.
Okay.
Thank you, my brother. Appreciate your time and the energy, man. Keep up the good work, and I will call you privately later.
Yes.
And AJ, remember
I
now,
feel
this
the
the
same.
beauty, right? This your
Huh?
primer, because next month is Jackson's.
That's why I'll be calling you before next month. So.
All right, y'all, stay strong. Phone
All
number
right.
is 312-405-8844. That's 312-405-8844. The website is www.nationalblockclubuniversity.com.